Scottie Barnes, Toronto's all-star, right there, number 4. Okay, what would you like to see built around him? Hit me up, brother. Let's go.
Yeah,
Get into
yeah, good, very good
it.
question. It depends on Scottie Barnes' development.
Hey, if Travis Kelce can get cred for inventing the fade, well, guess what? I invented the ball. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. But we're not here to talk about football. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To The Point with the King. You guys can find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it is. YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching us. Make sure you guys go down there, hook a brother up, click subscribe, click like, leave a comment. We can talk to you. You know, once we get to 750 subs, this beautiful brand new sweater is going out there to one of you, and we can have a draw, whatever. But thank you for enjoying our fantastic guests, especially my man, which we've been talking about the trade deadline for how many episodes right now? The one and only. I call him Captain Kirk. You can call him Kirk Alfaro, Esquire. How you doing today, brother?
Good, man. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me.
Hey, man, that's not a thing. You can't start something without finishing it. So, geez, as of this recording, ladies and gentlemen, this is the day prior to the trade deadline. By the time you see this, the trade deadline will probably have already happened. Okay, so Kirk, we've gotten into so many. We've covered Pascal, we've covered OG, we've covered RJ, we've covered so many transactions that have happened within the Raptors organization recently. And what it's all boiled down to, here's where I'm going to start you off, my friend. Scottie Barnes is now the face of the franchise. Scottie Barnes, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, yeah, he's an all-star. He cannot do it all by himself, okay? So there does need to be a supporting cast around him. Now, we've seen some lacking in the supporting cast around him. So let's go through with some of the recent acquisitions and possible trade pieces, or in the NBA as they call it, assets. Let's go through what the Raptors can do. Now, every little step I take, sorry, that's Bobby Brown. I'm going to ask you, Kirk, Bruce Brown, what are your thoughts on his fit within the Raptors, because his name has been brought up in trade talks?
Yeah, trade him. Absolutely, 100% I would trade him. So to me, the Raptors, like we spoke about a little bit before, the Raptors are in a rebuilding phase. And, they need to rebuild it. They need to blow it up right from the bottom and just blow it up. And Bruce, I mean, he's an asset. There's a lot of teams that want him. He's got that championship pedigree. He won a championship with the Nuggets. And so LA apparently is very interested in him. And I believe some other teams, maybe even the Clippers. So yeah, trade him. It's all about getting picks now, right? If we're rebuilding, make it a true rebuild. Once we got rid of Pascal, true rebuild. Now it's like OKC a couple of years ago, or more than a couple of years ago.
When they got 21 draft picks.
Yeah, trade everyone, get as many draft picks as you want, and that's how you're going to build your team. So yeah, I'm definitely down with trading Bruce right now at this point. Yes, because I mean he's got that pedigree, and there's a team out there that's making a championship run that could probably use him well.
I agree with you. I say get rid of him because from what I see from him is he's just a guy out there. He's like a little spark plug. He's like one of those. I don't know if you watch Transformers movies, but he's like one of those just little guys going, right? He's just one of those guys, and I agree 100% to get rid of him. But there is one person, and I'm gonna bring this up because after you speak, I'm gonna get in on this one. Should they trade Gary Trent Jr.?
I don't think so. I like Gary Trent Jr. I think him utilized properly and with the right supporting cast. Not that he's going to be the focal point of the offense, but guys that can pass, guys that can pick him off coming off the screen, because that's where his best part of his game is coming off those screens. Just jumping and hitting those jumpers. And I wouldn't trade him. He likes Toronto. He didn't have to stay. I think the last time his contract was up, and then he decided to stay. He didn't have to, and
didn't know where else to go.
Yeah, I mean, there were teams that were probably making the championship run back. Now we're going back 2 years. I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure there would have been a team, or two or three that would have been able to use his shooting ability, albeit a little bit streaky, but when he gets cooking, he gets cooking.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to have to disagree with you. One of the few times we disagree. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Him as a starting shooting guard for this Raptors team, like you just said, inconsistency. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's not. And when he's not hot, it deters the Raptors right there at the beginning of the game. I don't give a rat's ass if your stats padding in the fourth quarter. I don't care. Game's pretty much done unless it's close. Okay. But from what I see from you setting the tempo the first three quarters, if it has to take you 0 for 7 in the first quarter and you're still in the game shooting threes, I'm sorry, but please leave, because the Raptors in this NBA climate and the landscape right now, the way it is, if you're not making your threes, you live and die by that sword. And the Raptors are trying so hard. Hold on, I'm not a Gary hater for you guys out there. If Gary were to stick to his bread and butter and cut to the mid-range and maybe get into the lane and create his own shots, I would have no problem. But from what I see from him, just standing outside, continuously missing without creating a shot, because if any baller out there knows, you get to the rim a couple times, you get that ball in there, the rim becomes a lot wider for you the further out you go, right?
But I don't know. Yeah, I just don't think that he's getting the ball in rhythm, though. Like, he's a rhythm shooter. And, when you had guys that could pass him the ball, Pascal was a very good passer. OG Anunoby was a very good passer. Now, these are two guys that are not there anymore. And that definitely will affect your game. He's catching it probably, not in rhythm, not where he usually likes it, not where he wants it. And then this is what affecting him. And I hate to see Gary Trent put the ball on the floor. When I see him grab the ball and he's got to put it on the floor, I start to get nervous.
I got to disagree with you.
That's him. That's not his game.
Prior to Pascal and OG leaving, he was still doing that. I've been saying this shit. Yeah, I said it. This shit last year on this specific podcast. I've been saying this, right? When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's not.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I wasn't thinking of him being a starter anyway. I think him coming off the bench, 6th, 7th man would be good. If he was a starter, it'd definitely be 3rd, 4th option.
Yeah.
As well.
So let's keep going on to some of the players whose names are out there for possible Raptors trade. Boucher. What do you think about Chris possibly leaving the Raptors?
Chris Boucher, yeah, yeah. I mean, another trade asset. I would definitely trade him, and there's going to be some teams that want to pick him up. I think Boucher has lost a lot of value, like a lot of value. So I don't know how much what you're going to get in return. So I don't even know if he's even worth mentioning. Maybe a bag of balls we'll get in return for him right now. I
A
just don't
bucket of
see where.
Gatorade.
Yeah, I just don't see where he would fit in with any kind of team that is making a championship run. He's just too streaky. He's too thin. He's just got a lot of deficiencies that I don't think a lot of teams would want to pick up. So if they can get rid of him, trade him.
Honestly, I think that if they, it looks like they want to get rid of him because as of recently, he's not been playing that many minutes.
Yeah,
His role
he's
has
a salary dump as well.
his role has been diminished, and
Yeah,
he's the last piece from the 2019 championship, right? I don't know if you guys remember that one,
yeah.
right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but he's the last piece that has a ring from that squad. And
Are
if
you
the
getting sentimental right now, King?
no, if the
It sounds
Raptors
like you're
were to
getting sentimental.
I'm not a Raptors fan, but if the Raptors were to clean house, that would have to probably be the last piece to go to get rid of the remnants and the remembrance of what was, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right? You get what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and it does look like that's what they're doing with them. And I wouldn't mind. I love seeing Boucher. I love having a Canadian player on the Raptors team. I think that's great. But business moves need to be made. Now, speaking of business moves, brother, there's another name I'm seeing pop up in the rumor mill, which is Dennis Schroder, who has not
Dennis the
been
Menace.
happy coming off the bench, which at first, right? And I've seen a lot of links going
Yeah.
on there. What do you think about him possibly leaving the Toronto Raptors?
Again, blow it up. If you can get some trade picks for that guy, or some draft picks, I should say, excuse me, do it up. Get as much as you want. It's all about the draft now. It's all about building through the draft and maybe using a couple of draft picks to trade for a good free agent or something like that. But you need the assets. You need the draft picks. And yeah, if Dennis again, like Bruce Brown, he's coveted by a lot of these teams that are making championship runs. And I heard LA wants him back, could possibly want him back. So he's a guy that he's a veteran that has been there as well, at some of the top clubs in the NBA, that I think that a lot of these teams would value his leadership, his mentorship.
Yeah, he's got one of these.
Yeah, and I don't like with the Raptors. It's kind of like, do we really need him? Nah, I'd rather trade him away and get some draft picks.
Here we go. Wow, you just segued right into our next topic. Listen, I don't mind seeing Dennis Schroder leave, but I also kind of want to see a veteran who has won a championship in the locker room that can, in the words of The Rock, know your role, shut your mouth, right? But can teach the younger players. I wouldn't mind that. So either way, I'm up in the air. Yeah, no, I don't really care. Okay. But now that you have been talking about, and we just mentioned about just a few players who are on the trading block and have been through the rumor mill, in order to receive picks as opposed to impact players that will win them a championship this year, next year, not going to happen, right?
Not good.
But to get the picks, now with the picks, like I alluded to at the beginning, what would you look for? Since we're doing the Armchair GM show today, what would you look for to surround Scottie Barnes, Toronto's all-star, right there, number 4, Okay, what would you like to see built around him? Hit me up, brother. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get into it.
So yeah, good, very good
Uh-huh.
question. It depends on Scottie Barnes' development. So I think it's kind of slowed down. I expected him to be a little bit more higher, um, at this point in his career. His shot's definitely improved. I gotta, you gotta give him his flowers for that. His shot is definitely
I
improved.
think he listened to me last year when I said get a 3-point shot. But
Yeah,
anyway, go on.
he did, and he took that to heart, and he actually made it happen. Now he's got to get that one-on-one game, that break you down one-on-one basketball game that Giannis has. The MVP conversation players are in. Those guys can all break you down one-on-one. I don't see
Giannis,
Scotty
Embiid, Jokic, Luka,
all
Shai.
of them, right? He can
Yeah.
already pass. His 3-point shot is improving. So all you need is to break you down, one-on-one moves, create your own offense that the superstars of the NBA do. And I expect him to take that step forward in the next 2 seasons at least. Now, if he comes to that point where he is at that point where now he's possessing this whole all-around beautiful game that he has the talent and the skills to do. If we have that type of Scottie Barnes, like a junior Giannis Antetokounmpo in our midst, that he's going to eventually develop into that kind of a player, dominant. Then it's going to be.
What would you want to put around him, brother? What would you want to surround him with?
So shooters, obviously, a guy. Well, you just have to look at Milwaukee Bucks right now, right? So he's got shooters, and he's got Dame Lillard as the second option, which is a great second option. That guy loves the big shots. At the end of the game, I mean, those are the type of players that you have to get around him, and then of course you have to move over to the role players, guys that can just rebound, guys that come up the bench and just score 10 to 12 points. On every given night. It just depends on Scottie's development, really, and what he's willing to do. And if he doesn't get to that level where next year maybe he doesn't have that one-on-one game, or maybe for the next couple of years he doesn't develop into a good one-on-one player, well, then we have to draft a good one-on-one player, or we have to bring in a good one-on-one player to be the first option on the offense, because that's what the NBA is all about, right? And then hopefully Scottie Barnes develops into that, or gets that kind of skill development into him where he is, creating his own offense. And then we have 2 major impacts. But it all depends on Scottie's development. He's the man. Like you said, he's the face of the franchise. If he can do it all, then we have to just support him and surround him with supporting players that complement his game. And if he does it, then we have to bring in guys that can kind of make up for his deficiencies, which we thought he should have had, but for whatever reason didn't come around to developing into.
Okay, may I say something based upon that? Okay, yeah, Scottie's development. Okay, what I see from a coach's standpoint to help develop Scottie, right, is okay. Right now we got RJ quickly, right? Those are guys that can cut to the rim, get their own shots, right? Grady Dick is learning. Yeah, I know the Dick is learning. It's adolescent, okay? Sorry, these jokes write themselves, okay? But he's starting to get that stroke. Again, these jokes write themselves, okay? But he's starting to hit that shot outside, right? Now, what I think in order for Scottie to actually flourish in this league right now is most likely to have a big beside him. Now, we're running out of time, my friend. So, do you have any thoughts on anything that I've just said? Because that's the way I see it. You got RJ, you got IQ, you got Grady, you got nobody down low to help the man out. That makes 5. Okay?
So,
and we just discussed like sandbags that could be dropped off of the hot air balloon. So
Yeah.
Hit me up real quick. We got like 1 minute left.
Yeah, so I would argue that Quickly is about the only guy on the Raptors right now that can create his own offense. Sometimes RG can do it, sometimes he can't. The other guys need the other players in order to get them the ball where they want it, or they get loose balls, whatever, to score. So yeah, I just Raptors in general, I don't think anybody should be getting mad at them. I don't think they should be having any kind of high expectations of them. They're going to lose. They're going to be a bad team for the next couple of seasons. We just have to just take them in, just enjoy the development. Don't get mad when they lose. Don't get over happy when they win. They'll probably, as a rebuilding team, they might beat the Lakers or the LA Clippers, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, right? It's all about long term, and are the pieces there? We have to get the pieces there, and that is through the draft. We have to do it through the draft, and maybe pick up a young free agent or two along the way. I think we have already, RJ and IQ. We just got to get through the draft, get a big guy, and just see where it goes. But people, don't get mad. Don't get mad. The next couple of seasons are going to be rough ones.
Hey, man, just as thank you, Kirk. But I'll just say this before we sign out. Just as the Raptors players are developing and they're developing their chemistry, don't shit on Darko, okay?
Yeah.
He's developing as well. He's still a rookie coach. He's only 40 some odd games into this, okay?
Yeah.
So calm down, back up, okay? Phil Jackson ain't coming out of retirement for us, okay? So ease up and enjoy and trust the process. Kirk, thank you very much for joining us today, man. You and I have gone through so many of these trade videos, and I hope this one is another banger, because they've all been bangers so far. So, on behalf of myself, Captain Kirk, Alfaro Esquire, okay, and the To The Point family, if you're watching, I consider you To The Point family, especially my man Arturas, working all that magic behind the scenes.
Yeah, Arturas.
Yeah, right? I know, that's the man. Y'all better call him if you need your stuff done, okay? And all of you, for all of your support, we appreciate it. Thank you. So on behalf of all of us, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
peace.